So did you know you can actually live in Europe on a budget without breaking the bank? Today, we're going to talk about the top 10 cities that we lived in Europe cheaply and under $2,500 per month.
So if you're on a Social Security budget, for instance, as a couple, you're looking at about $2,900 a month is the average. So we're below the average Social Security budget, and this is just what it costs for us to live on. We're not trying to actually stay within that type of budget at all. So we had a good quality of life, and if you're a single person, I'm going to guesstimate that you could probably reduce your costs by about 30%, because Julie obviously is going to take up half the groceries and half the restaurant costs. But when it comes to things like lodging, you might go with a smaller place. It's not going to have as deep of an impact. So roughly you're going to take about 30% off, but also keep in mind our Airbnbs might be more expensive than yours because we have dogs that we travel with and we have specific needs. We always typically do a one bedroom or larger. We very rarely will do a studio. So depending on how you want to do your place, and if you don't need parking like we do, you might come in at a lower monthly average on lodging.
Yes, because we are Americans who actually own a car in Europe, and we drive from location to location with our dogs.
If you hear weird noises at all during this video, we have our dogs. They're sitting over here next to us, and we don't know what they're going to do next. So we're going to tell you what countries are Schengen and what countries are not Schengen as we go along. I'll put it up here on the side here. If you are an American and not an EU citizen, you're going to have to know your Schengen and non-Schengen locations, because as an American, or if you're British or Australian, you can only be in the Schengen zone 90 days every 180 days. So you have to think of all 29 countries of the Schengen as one country. So let's start off our list of countries. And as a reminder, these are our real costs, not AI or Numbeo giving you some sort of made-up stats. These are our actual experiences through our monthly stays. So number one, drum roll, and no particular order, by the way. So what's the first country and city we're going to talk about?
The first country we're going to go to is Serbia, and we're going to highlight Novi Sad. And I love Novi Sad. It is gorgeous. It's a picturesque city with the most beautiful cobblestone streets, and you just feel like you're in a timeless location.
Yeah, Novi Sad was such an eye-opener for me, a country that I didn't really want to go to initially when we were coming to Europe. It wasn't on my places to go list, but it's one of my favorite. Love Novi Sad, Belgrade, Zlatibor, so many good locations and great people. So what was our cost in this wonderful little city?
$2,135 for the month. We got cappuccinos for $2 each on average. We had meals in, inexpensive locations, really. I mean, a meal with like a soup and maybe a salad was about $8.50. And then if you wanted a more gourmet option, like we loved this one restaurant Terrasse, which is up near the fortress and in the fortress and overlooks the Danube. It's about $13 per person. So I'd call that more of a gourmet meal.
Yeah, I had such a great adventure in that Petrovaradin Fortress too. If you haven't seen that, I explored like 6 kilometers of the 30-some kilometers tunnels. A lot of fun in that adventure. So the people there were fantastic, and I can't wait till we go back there again. It's well worth visiting.
Yes, and our accommodation in that city was $900. Absolutely loved it. Groceries were extremely reasonable. I mean, we were getting lettuce for like 75 cents a kilo. Spinach was 75 cents a kilo. I was able to get carrots, onions, anything pretty much, in those kind of staples for about 50 cents per pound.
When you're in Novi Sad, the food is fantastic. The grocery shopping, especially going to the farmer's market, outstanding. The only disappointing thing in the entire country of Serbia is their cheesecake. Don't fall for it. Looks good, doesn't taste like the cheesecake you're looking for.
So our second country that we're going to highlight is Poland. And the city we're going to highlight is Krakow, Poland. For people in America that don't know, it's Krakow. The city is gorgeous, and I mean, it's just an incredible place. The value you get for the money can't be matched very easily. We actually had a beautiful accommodation there outside the city center, and we paid $1,035 for it. Our entire month cost us $2,285, and going out to eat was relatively inexpensive. I mean, by American standards, way inexpensive, but we had a beautiful meal out, usually for less than $12 per person. You could get a fast food option for $4 or $5 per person on average. We had wonderful places we would go and have vegan food if we wanted to. There are many Lidl markets around, so getting groceries is very inexpensive and the variety is incredible. I would say that a more expensive meal that we would go out to was at a restaurant, Dynia, and that means pumpkin in Polish. And there, I believe we spent about $26 to $27. So
for two of us, not each.
For two of us, yes. But it was a beautiful time. We actually had a date night there and enjoyed it. Shopping at the local markets, as far as the local farmers markets, was just absolutely an incredible experience. You could find anything you wanted, and really just great. I mean, homemade goods, everything imaginable. So Krakow really was amazing, and it is gorgeous.
So many great places in Poland as well that I know you just can't go wrong in some of these countries. And it's so hard to just pick the city to represent different places. So number 3, also as of March, Schengen. It's Sofia, Bulgaria.
Yes.
And that broke our hearts because it used to be a non-Schengen location.
And really, Sofia is a very charming city. And it's a beautiful European capital and very reasonable in cost. I mean, very reasonable. The city has a lot of restaurants. You can find any kind of culinary option you're really looking for. But what we really loved especially are the parks. There are the most gorgeous parks in that city. And so, of course, having a dog, it was a great place to be.
If you're going to be a dog parent traveling, going to the park there in Sofia, there were so many people out there to meet, and having dogs is just such a great way to break that barrier of getting to know people, and especially in Sofia, love the people in that dog park. It's not really a dog park. They just all go there with their dogs every evening. Probably like about 50 or 60 dog owners and a whole bunch of dogs just having a party every night.
Yes, and incredibly, there are lots of markets there. There are lots of farmers markets you can go to. There are huge markets like Kaufland and different places, and you can find really great prices on your groceries. Restaurants, I think we were able to eat for about $22 for the two of us, and it was a pretty good meal. We really enjoyed our time in Sofia. Our accommodation for the month was $1,150, and our cost for the month was $2,190. And it really is a lovely city, and that park, this huge park, comes alive. I think it's the Palace Park at night. And families are there, everybody's gathering. It's just really a beautiful place.
Yeah, and Sofia is actually one of the more expensive cities of Bulgaria. And you can also go to Plovdiv, Varna, and even Velika Turnova. There's so many other places to sightsee and check out when you're there. But Sofia, of course, being the capital, is probably a must-go-to location. Or if you like the mountains, you can even go up to Bansko, Bulgaria.
Yes.
The 4th location, a country near and dear to my heart, and it's non-Schengen. Thank you. And this is where we actually have our home base and where we're sitting right now. We're in the beautiful, lovely, wonderful country. Can't say it enough. Montenegro.
Yeah, we love Montenegro. And Montenegro is considered the
jewel of the Adriatic. I'll say it for you.
And the coastline really rivals any Mediterranean coastline. I mean, it is just gorgeous. It's a paradise. Coulter is the 4th city on our list. And as he said, we own a home here. So our groceries are really quite reasonable here. And our last month cost us $1,464 because we don't pay rent. As he said, we own here. If we had to pay rent here, you could add about another $1,000 in most times of the season. So
for a 2-bedroom like we have.
Yes.
If you're looking for a 1-bedroom, you could probably find something if it was a year-round rental, you're looking at somewhere in the $600 or $700 a month, or in the winter as an Airbnb in off-season, you might be able to find it for $600 or $700 for a 1-bedroom. In the summertime, this is a very popular destination, so prices ratchet way up. You might be looking at a couple thousand to be in a place like where we are right now, because it's a hot spot for the summer all along the Budva River up to Herceg-Novi and throughout the entire Kotor Bay. But for 9 months out of the year, going to be pretty affordable when it comes to lodging. Summertime rentals can be quite expensive. You may be looking at a couple thousand to be along the coastal areas here, unless you're further south, maybe down towards Usen. But if you're in the Kotor Bay area, in our area, it's a bit more costly. And if you wanted to rent our location, for example, normally in the summer months, our 2-bedroom, we're going to be looking at this point in time, probably about $3,500 or more a month. In the off season, we will rent this at approximately $1,000. I should be saying in the euro bracket. Just let us know if you have an interest in coming here in the off season when we're not here.
And as far as going to cafes are getting more expensive here. Montenegro has gone up a little bit. So going out to a cafe is going to run you $25 for 2 people pretty easily. And you could get a pizza for about $8, €8.50 if you want something added like tuna fish or such. You can still get sandwiches here for €4, and they're really amazing sandwiches. You'll have a chicken with different vegetables on it. And of course, it'll usually come with a side of French fries as well. A cappuccino is running about anywhere from a €1.80 to upwards of €3.
So the 5th city is a revisit to a country that we already spoke about, because some countries just have too many great places that you can't just say one. If you're going to go to a Schengen country and you want to have a wonderful, wonderful summer, you want to go to the Gdansk-Gdynia area. Beautiful weather in the summer months, and Julie's little happy place here in Europe.
So if
the low 70s temperatures, forest hiking for the one that doesn't like that hot tropical summer like I do.
Yes.
But the beaches are fantastic.
So if he didn't let you already know, it's the country of Poland.
Oh, did I not say that? Oh, but okay. But these beaches here in Gdansk-Gdynia, you can go out there all day and never burn, I feel like, because the UVs are so low. So on a nice 72, 75 degree day, or 20, 23 Celsius, you'll be out there and your white skin is not going to be coming out cherry red at the end of the day. Love it.
And Gdansk is a fairy tale city. I mean, from the moment we walked into that city, I was in love. And it has a really reasonable cost of living. I mean, we were going out to these gorgeous lunches with huge salads, very gourmet style, under $25 out the door. So very, very reasonable. You could find your drinks, your cappuccinos, your espressos, different things would run you anywhere from about $2.50 upwards to about $3.50. I remember we could get sandwiches there for $4 and $5 equivalent as well. Now, their currency, the zloty, has gone up. So the dollar is weaker against it at this point. So things are a little bit more expensive, but still very, very reasonable. And Lidl's, the supermarket, abounds across the area. So you can easily find what you need. And for a person who loves Cool weather in the summer. It doesn't get any better. I loved hiking the forest. I did 16 kilometers a day on average.
She was a machine.
I was, and I loved it. And he had the beach. So for the person who needs the beach and the person who needs the forest, it really doesn't get any better. Our cost during the summer was $2,400, and we spent $1,100 for the accommodation right outside of the city center of Gdynia, but we were walking distance to the forest and to the beach. So perfect world for the two of us.
And I would say because of the change in the currency, it may be at the 2,800 for us to have that same lifestyle right now, but still below that Social Security budget. And if you watch that zloty, if it goes back up towards 4.7, 4.8 to the dollar, you'll be where we were. Number 6, again, no particular order. We're going to the non-Schengen side of the Balkans. We're going to a country that
you had dismissed.
I had dismissed. But I really enjoyed my time in Saranda, Albania. It surprised me. The expat community there surprised me. And just the ability to have such a robust social life and for so little. And we went out a lot. We went out probably twice as often as we normally would on any month, just because there were so many social things going on.
Yes.
And so it just kept us going out and out and out.
And I counted. We actually went out to meals 21 times. So when I give you our total, keep that in mind. And that was not including.
I was going to say, that's just restaurants. So that's not counting going out to the cafes for coffees or for desserts or going for a beer somewhere at a bar. So this was meals.
And it's nestled along the Ionian coast, which is just beautiful. And the promenade is so vibrant. So many restaurants, so many cafes. It really is a haven for retirement travelers, for expats, for travelers in general. Everyone. I mean, really just a lovely, lovely community. And the Albanian people are so kind. And here's an interesting thing for Americans out there. Americans can stay in Albania for 12 consecutive months without a visa. You do not have to do anything but arrive, get your passport stamped, and you're there for 12 months. And then if you leave for another 90 days, you can come back for yet another 12 months.
And our Airbnb just cost, what, $550 a
Our
month?
Airbnb was $550 for the month, and our total for our entire time was $2,206. And I mean, like he said, we lived it up.
If we just had a normal month there, we definitely would have been like $1,600 or $1,700 for our total, because we went out like crazy.
We did.
We do need to mention, if you are trying to go to Saranda, Albania in the summer months, it's like Montenegro, going to be really expensive. Prices go way up on the Airbnbs. Restaurant prices start going up too. So, you know, you're going to probably be looking about 3 times more in the summer for your Airbnb lodging. So just know that. But the time there in the shoulder season's fantastic time to be there. And there's plenty of things open as far as if you're near the central part of Saranda. If you get too far out to the newer construction area, things can be really dead. So in the off season, you really want to be in that central area.
And grocery prices really weren't that bad. I did find them a little bit more expensive than some of the bigger cities because there's not as much variety. You're dealing with some smaller markets, but still very reasonable. Like we said, we lived up pretty well. We were very excited and very, very happy to be there. We have quite a few videos on Albania during our time, and a real estate tour as well.
I will say, though, that the real estate prices in Saranda did disappoint as far as if you're buying. Definitely were not the low prices we were expecting. So that when we said the real estate prices in the video were shocking, we meant shocking, but not in a good way. Number 7, a country that was non-Schengen up until recently, has now gone Schengen, as of this past March. So it's if you're doing the Schengen shuffle, you got to put it in the 90-day Schengen pile, and that's going to be Romania, and we're talking Brajov, Romania.
I'm telling you, I was blown away by this city. It is just gorgeous. The moment I stood in the city center and saw those gorgeous cobblestone streets and the most picturesque, quintessential Europe, I was in love. So Brajov really, really blew us away. We loved it. We enjoyed going out for soup and polenta, which is a big thing there. We found it to be refreshingly affordable as well. We enjoyed the majestic Tampa Park. And the Tampa Park really is just a sprawling green oasis. It is just gorgeous. And there's a cable car that will take you up to the top. But really a truly beautiful city. There are Kauflands there, there are Lidls there. You can shop till you drop in that city. It offers a lot. Modern malls, everything. We actually got Abby, our car, detailed in an underground of a mall. And so it was really a really special city. Our accommodation outside the city center was $1,100.
When she says outside the city center, we literally walk 6 minutes to the city center.
Yes. And we actually could go to the Tampa Park every day. We actually strolled through there every single day.
Even at night, and it wasn't dangerous. None of the cities we're talking about are dangerous, but I know many of you, like me, would be worried about the vampires. Not a single one. I walked that at night, and I did have a wooden stake with me, but I never had to use it.
Yes, and our month in Brajov cost us $2,207. We just loved it. We would definitely recommend Brajov.
Number 8, Schengen. And if you need a bath, this is where you want to go. Country of Hungary, and we're talking about Budapest, of course. So Budapest, we had a nice time with the dogs. Great parks for the dogs.
We did.
And huge Margate Island with different shops out there, but it's mostly like this oasis park in the middle of the Danube going through Budapest, and you got the Danube flowing on both sides, and this whole island is made into a park. One of my favorite and the dog's favorite locations, as well as, Julie liked getting her little walk on there.
Hey, I broke a toe and I walked 10 miles in one day because it was just such an amazing city.
But it also wasn't because there was bad public transport, because you had public transport and the dogs were able to go on public transport.
They were. And Buda Castle is just stunning. But one thing I really thought was amazing was the Hungarian Parliament building, and the fact that it really is so reminiscent to me of a 3D puzzle. It is just so beautiful. And then there's the beautiful
Fisherman's Bastion.
Yes.
To me, that was the most beautiful thing I've seen that wasn't in a Game of Thrones movie.
True. And the cafe culture there, guys, is alive. It really is. Budapest really offers a lot. We visited a ruin bar.
She drank beer.
I did.
She hates beer.
I did, and I hate beer. But they actually had a raspberry beer there that actually I liked. And incredible restaurants. You could find anything imaginable, Greek, Turkish, I think even Moroccan if you wanted to, you could find in that city. So there is a Lidl right outside the city center. So again, grocery prices aren't that bad. Going out to eat ran us about $25 for the two of us. So not on the cheapest side, but still not bad. Our accommodation ran us $1,220 for the month. And our month in Budapest cost us $2,332. So still really awesome. So many things to do there. Highly recommend.
For number 9, to the capital of Serbia, Belgrade.
Belgrade is a really beautiful city, and it's actually so reminiscent of a French city. Actually, I think Paris, and a friend of ours highlighted that. It's very reasonable in cost. The city offers a really great lifestyle at a very reasonable price. So it has, like I said, the essence of a cosmopolitan European city, but so much less expensive. So you get so much for your dollar. Grocery prices were slightly more expensive than Novi Sad, but on average, not bad at all. And the variety was amazing. Even in the winter months, you can find so much there. You can find huge markets to go to very easily. Going out to eat, again, $25 or less for a really nice meal. You could find sandwiches in the city center for $3 and $4. So very reasonable. Our accommodation was $1,100 for the month. What I want to say is parking is not easy in that city. So getting around there, public transportation is alive there. It's easy to get around, and you might want to use it. Walking is great there. There's a beautiful pedestrian zone. But our entire month cost us $2,300.
Yes. When you are in Belgrade, as well as in many of these locations, you want to look at your location, because there's going to be the industrial side of town and areas that aren't going to be as nice to stay in. So like in Belgrade, you want to be down there near the central part of the town, near the Danube, near the fortress, near the pedestrian area. Those areas are quite charming. In Novi Sad, you want to be there by the fortress or the downtown area, the pedestrian area. There's great areas in all of these cities we're talking about, but there's, you want to be kind of centralized if you can, because you get too far out, you're going to be in maybe a working class area, and maybe not going to give you that same vibe of getting that feel of the specialness of where you are.
Correct.
We're heading west now in Europe. We're going to go to the farthest side without leaving the mainland of Europe. And so we're going to our number 10 country, Lisbon, Portugal, and unfortunately it's Schengen. And speak, honey, talk about Portugal.
Lisbon, again, offers stunning architecture. Our prices in Lisbon were good and bad. We could find cafe options for anywhere from $5 equivalent up, but that's going to be a simple sandwich. It's not going to be much. Seafood was a lot more expensive than we actually thought it was going to be. But overall, going out, we would do the plate of the day. And for the two of us, we could do it for $25, not including getting a drink. Our accommodation was fairly expensive. It was $1,400. I say fairly expensive with our averages. It was $1,400, but it was walking distance to everything. We were walking distance to this massive park, Parque Eduardo, and it is a beautiful park, great place to take our dogs, but also just a great place to be. And so we really enjoyed it. Our month in Portugal cost us $2,500. Now I will say that our Airbnb has gone up exponentially since we were there recently, but there are still accommodation offerings under $1,500 outside the city center. So it is still a place you can go and get a quality of life.
Yeah, we will say that Lisbon is probably by far the most expensive location on our list of cheap locations to go to today. And we really felt like we needed to include it because we know so many of you guys are big on Portugal. And so we wanted to include it into the list. But, their public transportation was dog friendly. There was there were some nice things about Portugal. It reminded me a bit of like San Francisco in many different ways. And I can't put my finger on each little thing, whether it was the hills or the trolley or the bridges. But it did feel a little bit like San Francisco, for what that's worth.
And Lidl's abound in the area, so you can find great prices. I mean, there were other markets as well, but Lidl definitely led the pack as far as cost, and groceries really weren't that expensive.
I feel like we're in a Lidl's commercial. We do have a bonus country coming up, but just really quickly as a reminder, we have our Facebook group. We hope you're going to join it. Look for Warren Julie Travel. And if you are looking for travel insurance or health insurance for international travel, make sure you check out our website, warrenjulietravel.com. And if you need insurance help, you can always email me at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com. So let's go to our number 11.
Number 11.
Now this one, because we went way over to the west, we're going to swing all the way back to the east to give you a non-Schengen option. And we're going to a city that has part of the country is in Europe, but this city is actually on the Asia side, so we're a little bit cheating here. Istanbul could have been the European one for us to talk about. We're going to talk about a place that we think if you're going to go to the country of Türkiye, you need to check out Antalya. And it was a tough one because we also thought about talking about Fethiye. But Antalya is a place we've gone back to a couple times.
Oh, wow.
And the restaurants there are fantastic. The people are fantastic. The expat community is fantastic. There's just so much to love about it. And again, Turkey was a country I didn't want to go to initially when I was coming to Europe. It wasn't that I wasn't not going to go. It wasn't big on my list to go to. And it's turned out to be one of my favorite locations. And your dollar just goes so far.
It does.
And you know, it even goes farther there than what you would see in Albania.
Oh, yes. We could actually go out to eat easily for $4 each. And that would be a soup, a salad. I mean, there were so many options. You could get sandwiches. For a more gourmet option, you could start at $8 and up. So really and truly, it was fantastic. We went to over 30 restaurants in a month. We were getting juices for under $2 per person, and these were 20 ounces and fresh right in front of you, pomegranate, everything. We had a beautiful Airbnb there, and we paid $1,250 for the month for it, and our month cost was $2,002. I mean, incredible value.
Well, let's say something really quickly. Our Airbnb, you can do less expensive. We love the place we were going to. You can see it in some of the videos. Fred and Tony's location, it had 2 bedrooms. It was a great location for us next to a park, and it had 12,000 television stations on there. Best place in the world to be if you're going to be in Turkey during the Super Bowl, because you know you'll be able to find it. And you know, it was just a country that I am so happy Julie made me go to. I think I envisioned Liam Neeson movies and Fighting for My Life or something, but no, this is so much better than I ever dreamt of.
And we have a lot of videos on it. So we hope that you've enjoyed this.
Yes.
And that we've highlighted places that you will check out, because we really have enjoyed our time in every one of these places, and we just want to go back.
So if you haven't figured out, we're Warren and Julie. We're traveling with our 2 dogs, trying to see what it's like to live in different countries, different places, and trying to share our experiences and expenses with you. So until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Ciao.